Hello.
G'day. How are you?
Oh, we're feeling quite angry, to be honest.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah. My name is Violeta, and I'm here with a number of women, and we've been listening to you this weekend. And actually we feel quite upset about what you've said about prayer.
Yeah. Why is that, Violeta?
Because we were taught something so different.
Yep.
And I was a nun in the Catholic tradition.
Yep.
And I feel so angry that the very things you're saying that we need to connect to our Father, we were taught were evil parts of us.
Yeah.
And we don't know what to do now with the rage.
Yeah. And do you feel so angry because you lived such a long time on earth with these ideas and concepts that you're now learning are probably false? Is that how you're feeling? Yep.
And I lived so long on earth, and I have lived so long here now.
Yeah.
And only now I hear that what I was taught was so wrong and that I have battled against was actually a thing that my Father loves and that I need.
Yeah.
And I feel I've lost so much of not only my life but of my connection to that thing that I had as a girl.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, we don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, how long ago did you live, Violeta?
In the 1700s.
Yeah. And you lived in...
Holland.
Yep.
And I lived from a girl of 16 till 83 as a nun.
Yeah, long time.
I dedicated...
Your whole life?
Sorry.
Whole life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I dedicated my whole life to something which I feel it's destroyed me now. And I have lived so much since then, believing that I'm still sinning so much that I can't feel my Father's love, my Father's gratitude. I feel nothing, and I have blamed myself
for it the whole time.
More and more.
Yeah, and this is the problem with false beliefs on earth, isn't it? Like, it's a huge problem. And people don't on earth really realise, a lot of people on earth think, beliefs are not that, I know you didn't believe this on earth, but a lot of people now believe that beliefs don't matter very much, but they have a huge impact on our future.
Well, I understand why now, why people say they don't matter, because I feel I have been through, since listening to you the last few days, I have been through so many thoughts that I let my beliefs matter too much. That I let my beliefs override a part of me that is not wrong.
Yep. Trying to force yourself to believe things that in your heart you sort of feel almost opposite to sometimes. It's difficult.
Well, no, I believed in my heart it was wrong. I believed all of my emotions were my sin, all of my femininity, all of my self.
Yep.
What I think now is myself. I still don't really understand what you're saying, but it feels like something very essential to me.
You suppressed, pushed it away constantly. You were taught to.
I don't know how to reach that again.
Yeah. Well, your anger is the beginning of reaching it. So
it's hard even having it. I have it so much.
Yeah, like rage.
Yes.
Yeah, rage. about, what is it now? 400 years of lost life. Yeah. Well, I understand the pain. I do. And the pain is a direct result. It's not your fault. It's a direct result of teachings that you were taught as a young girl, that you started to believe and were almost, if you look back on it, probably even sort of forced into believing to a degree.
Well, I didn't enter that life understanding how much I would need to give up of myself.
Yeah.
I didn't even until just now feel that I had given up on myself.
Yeah.
And I still feel there is so much shame when I contemplate what you have described, not just prayer to be this emotional and personal interaction, but also this prayer you've been examining to feel a goodness about myself, to feel that I am created good. When I even say those words, I feel shame and fear and...
Well, a lot of the Catholic faith is fundamentally based upon this idea that you're born a sinner and fundamentally that you remain one without Jesus' blood, you remain one forever.
And in my life, I was taught to believe that as a woman, I'm even less worthy, even less worthy of, well, you it was, but and God. Yeah. And that I must suppress the feminine urges, the emotional, the instinctuals, the intuitive. All of these things were viewed as my sins.
Yeah.
The sexual, all of it. Yep.
No, you did right. That's exactly the purpose of creating the nunnery, wasn't it? To suppress all of these things.
Well, it's been a revelation to begin to consider these things in a new light, and it's a very rapid. Obviously, there's many of us here, and we have been questioning in recent times, years. Is there something
else?
Something wrong? Is there something else? We've tried so hard to live in a way that we thought was right and holy, if you like, and yet we still feel in darkness. We still feel very distant from our Father, and we still feel very well. What we began to discover is we felt more and more empty, and now to hear this, and so quickly, there's so many things that are changing, but also so much
sort of rushing in of emotion that's occurring.
Yes, and the rage.
Yeah,
it's very difficult not to feel that.
You want to sort of express it somehow, don't you?
So but we go, or I go through waves of that, and then the feeling that this is a very big sin. It is a very big sin for me to feel this intensely about anything.
Yeah, well, this is something that is important to understand. When we have had something that has been false taught to us for a long period of time, that we've imbibed as true, and then we're taught a truth that shows how false the prior thing was, there is undoubtedly going to be some anger about that, because it's a lost period of time of life. There's going to be some disappointment. But I must say that the main reason why it's anger is because there's also a resistance to the sadness. You follow what I mean?
Yes.
There is this, how you've learnt on earth to be very stoic, like bear things, to
Yes.
bear your cross, bear your burden.
Yes, and I've come to sort of see myself almost from
a distance.
From outside myself.
Yeah, like you're observing yourself rather than being yourself.
Yes, and live totally in the mind. And totally, any time there's a desire that I feel is impure or not correct, to
suppress it with your mind.
Yes, deny it and to chastise myself for it.
Yeah, punish yourself for it, really. Yeah. Yes, and because of that, and then to find out that all of that was all unnecessary, is also such a disturbing thing, isn't it, to find out? So I understand why you feel angry. But it's your grief that is going to heal you, not your anger. So when you get angry, it's a way of trying to control, the pain of something. You understand? So when you feel this angry, you're still trying to control the grief that's inside of you about having 400 years of lost life. Make sense? Mm. And the key is to allow, what I've learnt to do myself is to take my grief to God and go and just bear my grief there like I suppose you could say like an offering. This is my grief and this is how I feel. I'm
not sure if I don't feel angry with God right now.
Of course, but
how does God
allow it?
I understand what you're saying, but how does God allow this?
Well, God didn't allow it for a start. The Catholic faith was developed by men right back in the 300s, and it was developed for the purpose of obtaining power over people.
Well, they had it over me.
Yeah. And it was not in accordance with anything I taught in the first century. And it's also not in accordance with God and God's views either. And God is if you feel God's feelings about it, you feel that God does feel that it's a very bad thing that was done to you.
You must tell everybody this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we're trying to tell everybody. But you can see on earth the big problem is that if people want power, they create all sorts of regimes to create a structure for the power to exist, and then they support that structure through violence. Right?
But now I feel violent. I feel like I want to go to the earth and destroy every system.
Yeah.
They all seem now to oppress.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. You will, and like I said, this feeling that you're having is because you don't yet want to, or feel you're able to cry about it, to just grieve.
I feel feelings that are worrying to me, but I feel that if I cry,
you're sort of letting.
How will it be corrected?
Yes, yeah. So it's sort of like a justice feeling with your anger. And this is the trouble with anger sometimes, is that you can sort of get to the stage where you feel like, but if I let go of my anger, then I'm letting go of anybody getting punished for what they did. And
I feel still the indoctrination in me that if I cry, then I am weak and I am showing that this part of me, this emotional part of me, is useless and is...
but that's not how God feels.
Is my sin as a woman.
Yeah, that's not how God feels, though. Your emotions are your power of the soul. It's the power of your soul are your emotions. And suppressing those emotions is suppressing your true self, is how God feels. So the key is to... Remember when I was talking to the Muslim fellows earlier, to Hara, I was saying to him, well, we've got to at some point sort of honour God in this process too. So a part of honouring God is, yes, you're coming to terms now of how you were created, to be a feeling, intuitive, emotional being, sexual, but you were created to be that, right? Part of honouring God is, that's what I'm going to be,
Yes,
and I understand the difficulty you have crying.
And I really, honestly, I feel like I want God to honour me for once. I feel like I've spent centuries honouring this God.
Yeah, but God already does honour you, but he honours the real you. He honours your sadness. He honours your feelings. He doesn't honour the person you were forced into becoming.
And so what do I do with that experience that I've lived?
You grieve it. That's the only thing that's left for you to do.
That can't give me back.
No, but you do not yet know what God's got ahead of you. So there are huge rewards for just letting yourself grieve and then embracing what God's got ahead of you. See, on earth, when you accepted the Catholic faith and you embraced being a nun, you were accepting what men put ahead of you. You understand? And in the process of doing that, you've borne the unfortunate results of that, which are suppressing the feminine nature that you have. Right?
Yes.
That's the unfortunate results of just listening to men and then believing them.
Yes.
Yeah. And you were at such a young age when you believed them that you were just a child, really, when you believed them. And so none of that is actually your fault. It's somebody else's fault, as you now know, which is good that you know that it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
But your rage is your desire to avoid your grief about it. Does that make sense to you?
It does, but I don't know if I want to give up rage.
Yeah, I understand. But you'll find that a relationship with God and also the beautiful things that come from that, you have to get to that grief at some point. Does that make sense? The grief is the real feeling and the rage is the feeling you create when you don't want to feel the real feeling.
And can I... How can God... I feel so angry with God, but also I feel so needy to be shown that God is not the God that I've been trying to serve and please.
So first you're going to have to go through your anger with God about it. Now, I know that you sort of feel, is God going to punish me for that? I don't know. Is God going to make my situation worse if I feel that? God isn't going to do that because God honours your honesty. Do you understand? Mm. So if you feel angry at God and you feel for a while like blaming God, it's not God's fault, of course.
But it's somewhere I know that as well.
Exactly.
It's hard for...
It's more men's fault, isn't it, than God's, that this has happened.
The whole structure of the church and the men involved in it.
Yep. And the wielding of power is really the main reason why it happened.
And then the fact that I did this to other women as well. I taught them these things. Yeah,
but, you could say by this stage you were, to use a more modern term, almost brainwashed into teaching them this way, weren't you? It wasn't... this is the trouble with teaching a child a certain set of beliefs, is that child, instead of feeling the freedom to explore different beliefs, the child ends up feeling that is the belief and I must enforce that belief for myself but also for everyone I meet. And God knows that. So you don't need to feel that sort of guilty or anything about those things. All you need to do is just grieve that it happened.
It just feels like such a mess, but also it feels like something that has been built up in me for so long. Not the anger, the beliefs. Yeah. The beliefs feel like concrete blocks of a structure that I've built.
Yeah, and not only you built, right? So people even implanted them there.
Yes, yes.
And then you've built upon them, built upon the false foundation.
Yes.
And you could say that's the foundation of sand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I talked about.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is the trouble with a foundation, like a house built on sand, is that eventually it must fall. And you've just got to grieve the fact that all that effort was put into building it and all that faith was put into building it, and yet it was all false and it's just got to fall.
And how can I feel strong as I grieve?
Well, you can't. That's the point of grief. See, the anger wants you want to be strong, and that's why the anger exists.
Yeah.
And you really can't be strong while you grieve, But you'll actually find there's a real relief in it. Grieving is a relieving process where you come out of it feeling like you can breathe again, like you're free and peaceful and serene. And, that's the beauty of not trying to gain control over your grief, but always letting yourself feel it, is that you end up, after you've felt it, you end up in a state where you feel relieved of the burden of it. Yeah? When you hold on to it, you're not only holding on to the grief, but you're also creating anger. And then you've got a double issue. You've got the grief that's being stored, that's still determining your actions. And then you've got, on top of that, the anger that drives a lot of, violent behaviour, potentially. The key is to learn how to feel your anger without becoming violent with it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, because now I feel, as you're saying this, I see that it's not good to be violent.
Yep.
But now I feel
But you don't want to suppress your anger.
Temptation to suppress it.
Correct,
yes.
correct. So you remember Paul said that you could be angry but not sin. You remember that?
Yeah.
And at the time you read that, and probably all your earth life, you haven't thought that that's possible, right? But now you can see that you can be angry and not sin. And the way you do that is by feeling your anger in a private setting where you've got things to bash and you've got things to yell at and you've got, you know what I mean? And God's also happy if you want to yell there as well. He'll be right with that because he can handle it. Right? He knows that he's not to blame for what's happened to you, even if sometimes you feel he is. And also, he knows who is to blame, and he has already attributed that blame to those people through his laws. So he's already done that as well. And after a while, after you get through your anger, you'll feel that, you can see that. You'll be able to even visit some of the people who, were responsible for the establishment of those rules and laws, and you'll be able to see what's happened to them in their past and see that there is a burden that they bear that's way beyond even your current burden. Right? So you will see the justice in it eventually, but I'm not saying you'll be able to skip to there. You won't be able to skip over the rage you have. You need to let yourself go through it, but you need to do it in a manner that's not going to get violent with others. Otherwise, then you sin and hurt others, you see. But you can feel and experience anger without becoming violent and destructive towards others. And also you can ask some of your friends, I've got some friends coming to you now, and they're going to show you how to create an environment where you can just express your anger without hurting anyone. You follow? But the goal of the anger is of going through your anger is to get to your grief. Now, this is so what we need to do is talk a little bit about your attitude to the grief needs to change. You follow me? Your attitude at the moment is, I want to control it. I think it's weak. I think it's powerless. That's your attitude at the moment. And you have a lot of judgment for that, right?
Yes.
That it's weak and powerless. Unless you change that attitude towards your grief, you will be very inclined to go into anger all the time. Does that make sense? So there is needing to be some beliefs changed internally that say, no, I can feel my anger and I can do it in a righteous way, then I can, after I've felt through this anger, I can see that you'll feel that your anger is a direct result of you trying to control your grief. Does that make sense to you? And you'll feel that, and then you'll feel like, I don't want to control it anymore. I just want to have the relief and the peace of feeling it and letting it go. That makes sense? And once you break through to that point, you'll have a period of grieving. And of course, there is a lot to grieve. The 400 years of lost life, lost individuality, lost sexuality, lost emotions, lost intuition, lost being a woman, lost the joy of experiencing yourself and understanding even your personality and your nature, feeling like all of those things got lost. That's a lot to grieve, right? But God will help you grieve. And if you ask God for love during that period, He will give it to you, and it will help you. He'll help you go through the grief, and also help you be happier sooner. You follow? Yeah. I know it's very tempting to get angry with God about it and to think, oh, it was a religion, so it's all God's fault. But
it's not really that.
No.
It's not really that we feel it's God's fault.
But it's tempting because of the anger, you see, the anger's. When the anger's there, we have a temptation to blame everyone and sundry, even if they weren't involved. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, don't avoid where the anger should be aimed, either, in the sense that it's with anger you need to come to the terms with the fact that there are certain people responsible, but also that I can feel my anger without aiming it anywhere. I don't need to punish those people. God's got all of that correction process in order already, right?
I think the difficulty, and I will be very honest, that a number of us are now having is that it's very hard to say.
That's all right. That's all right.
That we can't listen to men anymore.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
And it's very hard to say that because we don't. Yeah, but it's the truth of what's happening.
You're my sister, but I understand. Like, you've been what I would view as abused by men all of your life. And the way they've abused you is through your beliefs. Do you understand? They've taught you false beliefs and abused you by using those beliefs to abuse you. And so that's no different than violent abuse and no different than sexual abuse and
those things did happen.
Yeah, that's right. Those things also happen, particularly, right, by other men, religious so-called, as well, right? So God understands why you feel the way you feel, right? And I do too. And, not all men are like that, but unfortunately there is a large majority of men on earth like that, unfortunately, as you well know. And particularly during the time in which you lived when there was less law controlling their behaviour. So, again, this is something that can be grieved, and God hasn't let them off the hook for their behaviour. God's taken issue with their behaviour through the law, and they have received the just compensation for their bad behaviour, right? But if you allow yourself to get into this dynamic where you want the very last one of them to finish their punishment before you grow towards God, then you're going to be waiting a long time.
It's not that. It's just a matter of trust now.
Yeah.
That,
I understand. Yeah. But God's a woman as well as a man. God's has a feminine nature as well as a masculine one. Yes? You can feel that, surely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you know that God's not entirely male. So even though I am, God isn't.
It's hard to say that, but it does seem important to be truthful about what is happening.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I know now you're saying it's hard to trust Jesus and all that, and that seems very complicated for you.
Yeah.
But
But we are listening.
Yeah.
And actually, it just has helped to say that.
Yeah.
Too.
But you've got to remember, you're also saying that through Mary, who is my other half. Not Mother Mary, but Mary Magdalene, who's my other half, and she also has had a similar experience. You know that.
Yeah.
Yes, to what you've had at the hands of men. So in our soul, we have compassion for the circumstance you're in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. No, we feel softer now. So.
Yeah. Just be okay about your anger. It's okay to express it. The women that I've asked to come, they're with you now, and they'll be able to help you sort of create an environment where you can express your rage and then get into your sadness. And when you feel blocked, it'll be because there's more rage to feel, and then you express your rage again and you feel some sadness. And after a while, you get used to getting to the point where you no longer need the power over your sadness. Mm-hmm. And once you get to the point where you don't need power over your sadness anymore, you won't get angry anymore. Make sense? Yeah. But also don't forget to ask God for love. Your mum, God's your mum, and ask her for love, and she'll help you through that process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We can feel what you say is true.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help. And again,
thanks for coming. And it's good that you expressed your rage.
We feel very embarrassed now.
Yeah, no, you don't need to be. It's, there are so many people of religious faith who have lived these very stoic, shut down lives, thinking they're doing the right thing, and all of them have got very similar experiences that you are going through now to have.
Yeah, we have to help them.
That's right. There's billions of those people on earth right at this moment. And so to have a group of people like yourselves who are aware of what they're going to need to experience, you have a great capacity to be able to help them at some point in the future. But you need to go through the experience yourself first to understand it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm very sorry that you've had that terrible experience. Yeah.
We're very sorry we got it wrong for so long.
Well, you didn't get it wrong. You were taught wrong. And this is one thing to bear in mind, is it's not your fault. You say you got it wrong, but it's not your fault you got it wrong. And you are barely culpable for the things you got wrong in the circumstances you were in. Yep.
Yes, it's hard not to feel that we have done a lot of wrong, though.
I know. I understand.
We've treated ourselves and others, and even in the way that we've worshipped you, and it feels very wrong.
Well, it's wrong, but if you allow yourself to ask God what she feels about your culpability.
Mm-hmm. Less than we think.
Less than you think, yeah. Yes, and that's worth remembering too, right? Because one of the traps you don't want to get into here is blaming yourself for what you did after you were indoctrinated into a process. Yeah? And you were indoctrinated into a process at such a young age, when you were a little girl, that it was highly unlikely the rest of your life wouldn't occur, given how indoctrinated your whole family and how you were pushed into that life, and what they wanted from you. Your family wanted, and then the religious faith wanted. And you were taught that this is the way you worship God, by giving all of these people all the things they want. And this is, this level of indoctrination that's occurred is fundamentally like getting a child and moulding its mind to the point where it's incapable of thinking and breaking away from it for hundreds of years later. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So don't be so harsh on yourself about it. You follow? Okay. Yeah, God's not going to be harsh on you about it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty heavy life. There you go.
Sad.
Yeah, sad life. Yeah, what can you say about that? It's just like hundreds of years of living a certain way, indoctrinated, abused by religion in the name of God, and it's such a blasphemy, you know. And the people who have lived those lives bear such terrible burdens. And as I said to her, the only way is to be soft to your sadness about it. Yeah, there's no other thing you can really do, you know, because there's no way to change it now. It's done, and this is where she'll find that God is going to give her so many blessings that she'll get to a point in a few years, and it's not going to be too many away, where she hardly remembers what happened to her. Yeah. Any questions, you guys? Yeah.